Ew.
In order to get a bronze mallard feather to lay properly on the top of a spey fly and get it to lay down where it belongs, you need to do a little prep before you start tying in the fly. First off, you need to get a breast feather from the right side of the breast and from the left side of the breast, and look for a feather that marries as far out to the ends as it will. You don't want something that just sticks out like that. You want them to marry real nice. You want them to stay nice and right alongside each other. The second thing is you will not be tying in this brown part of the feather. You look for a feather that has gray at the tie-in point and brown down the body of the feather, and that's the perfect size feather. You'll notice that this feather, is a little too long. It goes a little too long far back on the fly. And the gray goes to almost half the length of the body. That's just too much gray. This feather, on the other hand, is too short. It doesn't go to the middle of the tail, doesn't go to the bend of the hook. The gray shows up in the right spot, but the feather is just too short for a good fly. Now when you're going to tie in the feather, excuse me, when you're going to tie in the feather, you'll want to tie it in on what's called the shoulder of the fly, not on the head of the fly. The shoulder of the fly is the widest part of that fly at the head before it drops down to the head. So we'll be tying it in right where this line is hanging. You also don't want too wide a piece of feather, because if it gets too wide, you're going to cover the whole body of the fly, it's going to wrap around the fly, and all you'll see is mallard breast. Now, the strip of feather from the right breast side goes to the back of the fly. Some people tie them the other way, what I call the overturned canoe technique. They don't lay quite as nice, they don't lay quite as pretty if you do that. So, tying in the feather, tie in again in the gray, take a soft loop over, and make sure, let's check it out, the back feather ends up dead center in the top of the fly. Don't worry about what this is doing now. We'll take care of that later. Now I'm taking the feather from the other side. This one's just a little bit too wide. It's a little bit wider than the other feather, and I want them to be the same. Now what you do is you put the tips together at the back here, and then push forward. Again, tips together at the back, push forward, and then bring the thread down soft and gently, and let that feather slide down the feather you've already tied in and sit alongside that other feather. Let me check it for accuracy here. There. Now we're on dead center. And you notice all it took to make that feather lay down is for me to stroke it back like that. And now we can finish the head. I like a head that's not really quite like the traditional salmon fly head. I like a head that is sort of spear shaped, because that way the water will flow up over the head of the fly and right along the wing. And if that wing is dead center like this one, that fly will sit there and do this in the water. If it's off center, it's going to do this in the water. Now, does that matter to the fish? Probably not, but it matters to me. Now all we do, whip finish, hit it with a touch of head cement, and by the way, if you need to get really good bronze mallard feathers, a company called Cook's Hill in England is where you have to order them. Otherwise, go into your local shop. If he's got bronze mallard feathers in pairs, check them out, make sure they're actually pairs, and get them then. Whenever you get a chance to get good bronze mallard feathers, buy them, because they're rare and they're not that easy to find. Thank you very much.